you a buyer in this market? You're looking at a new construction home, but you're wondering, why are these home builders always pushing me to their preferred lenders? Stick around. This video is for you. Hey, what's up everybody? It's your mortgage expert, Brian McCauley here. So in today's market, as we all know, there's low inventory, which is encouraging potential home buyers to go look at new construction homes. There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons when it comes to new constructions, which I covered in another video, but today I'm going to talk about why is it when a home buyer goes to a new subdivision for a new home builder, it seems like all of these new construction builders have their preferred lender and they try to push everybody to them. So what's there? Why do they have the preferred lender? Why is it always tied together? So first and foremost, I've been doing this for 16 years. Second little secret is I actually used to be a preferred lender for a home builder as well, back from like 2012 to 2016. So I know all the reasons behind it, all the tricks of the trade, everything I'm going to share with you and why. Let's just start out with the why. This is the easiest one. So, if you're a home buyer out there and you're not aware of this, home loans are really, really hard to get. There's a lot of regulation, a lot of paperwork, and a lot of times, mortgage lenders just aren't doing everything the right way up front. They're taking applications, but they're not getting documentation. They're doing things over the phone. They're not validating all the documentation like they should be. So why does this matter? Well, when you don't do things the right way up front, a lot of times the home loan will crash and burn and fall out at the very end of the transaction, leaving the potential home buyer, the real estate agent, and obviously when you're a home builder, stuck in a tough spot. Statistically, back in 2016, 65% of home loans didn't close on time or had a bad experience. That's a big number. So this is one of the reasons why home builders want to make sure that the pre-approvals of the buyers that are coming to look at their properties, those pre-approvals are not in vain and they're accurate. Imagine this, right? If you're a home builder and you're building a subdivision of 200 homes in a community and you let every home buyer come to you with a pre-approval letter from XYZ Bank and you have no idea who the bank is, you have no idea who the mortgage company is or how solid the client is, you're leaving a lot of the completion of the house and the guarantee in the hands of another. So what has happened is these home builders, because so many home loans don't close on time, they build these houses for specific families and it takes them, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is. And then these mortgage companies are not doing their due diligence up front and validating everything like they're supposed to. So a lot of these home loans are falling out at the very end. So the builders end up with completed houses that they've built for a certain family that they need to sell so they're profitable, but also to turn that money to build some other communities. And so what happens is if a lot of these properties don't end up closing, these builders are stuck with inventory that needs to get pushed, but also they are tied up in their funds and they can't get their money back until they sell the house. So leaving that answer in the hands of a mortgage lender that they're not aware of puts too much risk on the builder. So the way they tried to eliminate this was, okay, well, by law, no home builder, no realtor, whoever, no one can mandate that you use anybody. So what they did is say, okay, here's the deal. The reason why we're going to have a preferred lender on site is not really because it's actually in the best interest of the client. It's not. I promise you, 99 times out of 100, the preferred lender partner for the builder is not the best course of action or the best high-level expert for the client. The builder goes out and either finds a mortgage company, finds a lender, and uses it as a recruiting tool and says, hey, here's what we'll do. We will let you have first shot at all of our clients or a shot of all of our clients that are coming in. Real reason why they want to do this, it's control. If they can control the transaction and know exactly who the clients are, know a lot about the lender, know a lot about the financials, they feel better that those deals won't fall out at the end. Then that builder or the builder's sales rep doesn't have to guess anymore and say like, well, I wonder if, this person's really pre-approved or not. They can go straight to the loan officer and the mortgage company that's their partner and say, hey, tell me about these people. Are they real? Are they not? I want to make sure if we build this house and sign this contract, these people are going to close for sure, smooth and on time. So they create the partnership, right? They get the lender in place and they ask, you don't have to use our lender, but what we want to do is we want to make an introduction, okay? Again, they're trying to control the narrative. They want to make sure things don't fall out on the back end, which I can respect. The challenge is a lot of times the mortgage company or the lender that they choose is not a high-level expert and they have a transaction-based mindset. So why do they have a transaction-based mindset versus a relationship mindset? that mortgage company knows they're just going to get the next person and the next person and the next person that show up on site or come through the door because they're the preferred partner. So they don't have to be high-level experts. They don't even have to be 100% accurate, and they sure as heck don't have to care, because if that deal falls out or it doesn't work out or it's clunky, that loan officer has no tie to the individual. Their tie is to the builder, and so they're just waiting on the next person or family to come through because they know they're going to get that opportunity. If you've ever gone to a subdivision or you've talked to a builder's preferred lender, there is always an incentive. Always, always, always an incentive. Why do they offer incentives? Well, again, the law mandates that no one can make you go to a certain mortgage company. It is the choice of the consumer, which I love. So what they do is they incentivize. If you use our preferred lender, we will pay for your title policy. We will give you $5,000 in closing cost credits. We will give you $5,000 off the price of the house. We will give you $5,000 upgrades. Whatever it is, it's an incentive. I just call it a carrot. They dangle a carrot in front of the buyers and say, if you use our people, we will give you this carrot. If they could make you use that mortgage person, they would make you. But because the law doesn't allow them to make you do it or force you to do it, they dangle a carrot. And they try to make the incentive as strong as they can and appealing as they can so the clients won't say no. So up front, at first glance, it appears to the buyer that this is their partner. They're giving me an incentive that's really, really strong. This seems to be the best deal. I should take it. So this is the whole purpose of why the builder and the lender dangle the carrots, to make sure that the people bite on it so they get the business that way. Here is the truth behind incentives when it comes to a mortgage lender and or a builder giving them to the buyer to use that mortgage partner to get their home loan. There's a couple different ways this incentive is given. Number one, it's baked into the price of the house. If you're buying a $400,000 house, if the builder's making, let's just call it 20% on the spread, they're making 80 grand. Instead of making 80 grand, they're just gonna make 75. They're gonna take that $5,000 out of their profit and give it back to you or the lender or whoever. That's one way. Number two, a lot of times it's in the interest rate. When you move an interest rate up, meaning that somebody gets an interest rate higher than what they actually qualify for, there's a premium in that rate. By law, that premium has to go back to the buyer. If somebody qualifies for a 4.99% interest rate, but they use the builder's lender and they're giving them $5,000 towards closing costs, they're not going to get a 4.99 rate. They're probably going to get more like a 5.25 or a 5.5. And what happens is the client has to take a higher rate, but the mortgage company is actually making the $5,000 incentive as the premium, and all they do is turn right back around and give that $5,000 premium to the client as a closing cost credit, but that's how they set up the incentive, right? So just so you know, any lender can do that. Any lender can increase the interest rate, give you the premium on the back end towards a closing cost credit to help you with the bottom line. Of course, the builder's lender will never tell you that, because once they show you their cards of what they're doing, you can get that information and go elsewhere and get a better loan officer, a more higher quality mortgage partner to give you the same incentives, but that's part of their strategy, is to hide what they're doing from you, which is the reason I'm telling you.
Help me help you.
So sometimes, yes, you get the $5,000, but you got to take a 0.5% higher interest rate, which may cost you a lot more money over the life of the loan. The third way is always the funniest thing that I see. If they're giving you $5,000 towards closing costs, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll overcharge in fees. So let's say they do give you a 4.99% interest rate, and they also give you the $5,000 in incentives. You will get from a lender what's called a loan estimate or a fee sheet. So a lot of times what will happen is if they give you a $5,000 credit, they'll increase their fees to like $4,000. So if your traditional fee was $1,500, let's just say, or $1,000, they'll increase that fee from $1,000 to $4,000, and they'll give you a $5,000 credit, right? So really what they've done is given you a $5,000 credit, charged you $4,000 more in fees. So you're really only gaining $1,000 in a bottom line closing cost credit by using the builder's lender. Now, a lot of people don't know that, and so when they get the fee sheet, all a consumer looks at is the $5,000 credit. They don't look at all the line items and all the fees on there. I tell everybody a loan estimate and a fee sheet is very similar to an x-ray. If a mortgage company puts a loan estimate or fee sheet in front of a consumer, and sometimes in front of an agent, they know that it's a fee sheet, but they're not really aware of how to read it all. There's so many numbers and line items and all this, and so if you're not paying attention, that $5,000 may seem great, but if they're charging you $4,000 in extra fees, you don't know how to locate that, it's really not a good deal. And especially if you're a first or a second time buyer that's not familiar with new construction and incentives and loan estimates and all that stuff, you wouldn't know where to look. So I always tell everybody, look, if a builder's lender offers you an incentive, go over there and play the game. What I mean by play the game is do a pre-approval with them. Get everything in writing. Ask for a loan estimate, ask for the details, send it to me. Let me look at it 100% upfront. The reason I do that for clients, even if they end up going with somebody else, is most people are referred to us based on trust. They trust me and they trust my opinion. And sometimes if the deal's better than our deal, I will say, hey, go ahead. It's a good deal, go. But most of the time it's either baked into the price of the house, it's baked into the interest rate, or they're overcharging in fees. Once I review it and give the client the understanding of that, it exposes the incentive piece. It discredits the mortgage lender because there's no actual incentive. It's just the way that it's being shaped and the way that it's being given and the way that it's being hidden to the consumer. Last but not least, outside of the incentives and the why and the what, now that you understand, it's the who. The who is the biggest piece, right? If you think about selecting a mortgage lender to represent you in a transaction, think about it like choosing a quarterback. When people want a quarterback to lead their transaction down the field and get them to the end zone, nobody ever wants a cheaper quarterback. Nobody ever wants a low IQ quarterback. The same thought process has to go into selecting a realtor, but also selecting a mortgage advisor to take care of your home loan. It is the biggest transaction, biggest investment, biggest purchase of your life. You need an all-star quarterback to do it. So outside of the numbers and the incentives and all that, you need to find out about the who. Every loan officer has an NMLS ID. It's like a driver's license number that the consumer can go onto NMLS and look them up. And let's say you look mine up, it's 208803. You will see that I have been in the business for 16 years. I've been doing this a long time. I've been helping a ton of families, and I would consider myself a great quarterback. A lot of times these partnership programs and these builder incentives with the preferred lender, the lenders haven't been in the business very, very long. Now you know the dollars and the details of the incentives and the why, but I want you to know the who. The who is important. Is this who you want leading your transaction down the field? Listen, I know that's a lot to take in, and there's actually a lot more to it, but I just wanted to give you a high-level overview on why these partnerships are established and how it all works. If you found this video helpful or useful, do me a favor, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you got any questions about your specific scenario, want to talk home loans, equity positions, whatever it is, do me a favor. Call us, email us, text us, set up a consultation. Just know that I'm here to help no matter what you need help with. Until next time, stay tuned.